Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kyla and today we're doing my 2020 bullet journal setup. This year I'm using a Leuchtturm 1917 dotted A5 journal in the beige color. Last year I used a dark green limelight dotted A5 journal, which I'll be talking more about in my 2019 flip through that I'll be releasing in early January. To start the setup, I'll be setting up my key. This year's key is quite similar to the one I used last year, but I removed a symbol and added a new one, so I didn't gain or lose any symbols. I apologize if there's any glitches in the video. I'm using a new editing system and I'm not quite sure if it's cutting out some random pieces or jumping ahead. Please let me know if it is, and I will try to fix it for my next video. As well as sometimes my camera would stop recording randomly and would cut out certain parts of the clip. So if there's a big gap or a big jump between the clips that I am showing, then that is probably why. To the right, I have an index. I do use the index when I have one, so this year I will most likely be using it. If you're wondering what supplies I am using, I will be listing them down below in the description, so check it out if you want to see the supplies. Now to get the actual setup started. So I wanted to write 2020 in balloons and fill it in with gold. So as you see right now, I am drawing the outline of the balloons with a black marker, and later I will be filling it in with a gold pen. The reason why I wanted to do gold for the balloons is because I thought it was very festive and inviting, and I just wanted to use my gold pen, so any excuse to do that is a great opportunity, and I took my chance. Here I thought I was going to start coloring the balloons in, and then I realized that I probably end up smudging it everywhere as I tried to draw what I'm about to draw next. Behind and around the balloons, I added some fireworks in two different colors. It's a yellow Crayola tip marker, and it's sort of gold-like, but more sunshine yellow. The other color is this deep red. It's almost a maroon, and it is a Tombow marker. And these two colors are the only two other colors in the entire setup. I wanted to keep the spreads as minimal as possible in terms of color, so I end up using mostly the black and gold, but mostly black. And these colors will be making a reappearance in one other spread, but for the most part, it is fairly simple and kinda minimal. I say kinda. here I am finally getting started on filling in those balloons. Now, this gold pen was a little tricky in terms of it's super liquidy, so it just wanted to run, which means that I needed to find a paper towel fast because it was going to smudge no matter what I did. So I was trying to be as careful as possible and starting left to right because I write with my hand pressed against the paper, which means no matter what I am using, I am going to smudge. Coloring these balloons in was actually really fun and therapeutic. It was very calming and was a lot of work and a lot of time, but it was so worth it in the end because I love the way that when the light catches the gold, it has like these different shimmering effects, even though it's just a pen. And yeah, if you ever needed to be convinced to buy a gold pen, I am telling you, buy a gold pen. It is honestly life-changing and such a good pen to have in your pile of pens. So I recommend. The next 4 pages will be my future log. I decided to do a vertical spread this year after testing out a horizontal spread last year. I will be doing 3 months over 4 pages. Right now, I am tediously writing the months out, and I will go in and add the name of the month in gold after I've done all of the months. I think this vertical spread is perfect for anyone who needs a lot of planning for upcoming months. And last year I did a horizontal spread, and some of the months were okay, they fit everything I needed to have in there. But other months I needed to squeeze in or just write it on a post-it and rip it off later because I didn't end up needing it anymore. So I opted for a vertical spread. On this page, I am doing a grid spacing page for the second year in a row. Major shout out to Amanda Rach Lee, since I found this out while watching her first 2019 bullet journal setup, and I think it is ingenious. It is super beneficial and a great tool. So if you haven't tried it out yet, go and try it out. It is such a useful tool. I will be writing the divisions for half, thirds, and quarters where there's no dot spaces, and then a third and quarter that does have a dot space between. On this page, I'll be doing a birthday spread to keep track of important birthdays. Since I already know the birthdays that I wanted to put down, I wrote down the numbers for a specific month, like for example January, and I will be drawing a box around those dates and leaving enough space for the names that I will be adding in off camera. I tried to turn most of the boxes into present boxes by adding different kinds of bows to them. This spread is fairly simple and straightforward. It's a great way to sort of customize and spice up a birthday tracker. And this is the second year that I did it. And there were 2 new birthdays added to this list from last year, so I'm gonna count them. It was at this moment where I realized I had way too much space left. I probably should have spaced out these boxes better, or done something about the spacing between the boxes that I already wrote, but I guess I didn't realize that I was gonna have like a quarter of the page left. So that's kind of ironic and really, really frustrating. Yeah. Bullet journaling is a process though, so you live and you learn, and this is me learning. The most ironic part about having this entire page left is that I did not leave myself enough space to write the word birthdays. I had to squish in A and Y, and I didn't even get to make it plural. And that is so ironic and so hilarious that I don't know what to do about it. I'm just gonna leave it as is probably. The next 2 pages are my wish list spread. The left page is just for things I like or think I like in general. It can range from literally anything like a pair of socks to something super expensive like a new phone, but probably not a new phone. The right side will be a stationery specific wish list. Now, this stationery specific wish list is super useful because I can swatch the different products so I can see all the colors that I think I want, and it helps me decide whether or not I really want them or if I already have them and I just didn't realize it. This is a great way to keep my shopping specifically to a minimum so I can sit and decide whether or not I actually need and want any of these things. So on this page, it's actually going to be 2 spreads on 1 page. The top half is for 2021 dates. I first created this spread last year with each month in a dedicated box, but I didn't end up needing a full page spread with dedicated months, so I decided to cut it in half this year and remove all of the boxes. I'll end up just writing the month and the date and the event with the details that come with it. The bottom half is an order tracker. The past 2 years, I've dedicated a whole page to an order tracker, but I have yet to fill up an entire page of it, so I cut it in half again. The columns in the order tracker are the date I bought it, the item or items I ordered, the shop I ordered from, how I paid for it, and whether or not I have received it yet. I think the order tracker is great because online tracking can kind of be a hit or miss for me. Sometimes they don't update it until like the last second, but this way I know if I'm waiting on something or if I received something and should be expecting a refund if I did not receive something, or if a present comes in the mail that you were not expecting. I think both of these spreads are really beneficial, and I'm hoping to be using this more. Next, I'll be setting up a pretty straightforward period tracker that I called Shark Week, because that is honestly what it feels like 9 times out of 10, or 9 times out of 12 for the 12 months. I would say this is fairly simple and straightforward because I just created a timeline of 1 to 30 down the left side and then a row of the first letter of each month at the top. I then did the outline of the box and then cut the box off at the bottom for where the month would end. So for January, it would be at 31, February for 2020 is at 29, and then 31, then 30, and so on and so forth. and I like the end of that. It looks really cool instead of just a huge long box. I also added a currently empty tracker to the bottom left corner. For the legend, I will be tracking how heavy my load is, whether or not I have cramps or headaches for those specific days, because those are symptoms that I have fairly often, unfortunately. But it's best to keep track and see if there's a pattern that I can figure out and see if I can stop it. The next two spreads are very straightforward and currently really empty and minimal. On the left, it will be a list of food places that I want to try, and on the right, it will be a list of date ideas. I'll be filling them out off camera since there are lists that I have in multiple different places, and I will try to compile them all into one single place that I hope to be checking off a lot of these places this year for adventures and just fun. You know, we're trying to live our best lives out here for 2020. So hopefully these two spreads side by side and in my bullet journal will be a constant reminder that I should get out there and do something fun, like eat delicious food. The last spread that I will be setting up is my expense tracker for most of the year. I divided this spread into the different things that I will be spending on pretty consistently for the full year. Also, excuse the odd color change. I lost daylight. I live in Canada, which means that pretty quickly I will lose daylight, and I started filming after lunch, which meant that I really did not have enough time, but I had so many things to get through that I just had to do it. So the color will be changing just a little bit throughout these next few clips as my camera and I adjust towards the dying light and also the flashing of the TV screen that was actually pretty far away, so I don't understand why it affected my camera so much and the whole color of the screen and the video. I am so sorry about that. For the next video, I promise I moved further away from the TV so that I would not end up with this problem, because trying to fix all the colors that's happening right now was very frustrating, and honestly kind of gave up. But also, like, why are commercials loving a deep red color? I don't understand. But anyways, I cut up the spread into my credit card bills, Spotify, Disney Plus, and then a income tracker that I will probably have to recreate maybe halfway through the year. I think expense trackers are super useful, especially when you're trying to live on a budget and have been failing. I decided to go back into the first page to erase the pencil marks that I had left, and I also noticed a few blank spots of the black pen as well as some overlapping of the gold pen on top of the black outline, so I will be going in to fix that. If I eat that blue, that was quite the blue. As the finishing touches come to an end, let's do a quick flip through. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time. Bye everybody.